Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave and today I have something really special for you, especially for the budget players, because this will be a pure Springans deck profile, which is absolutely budget. You need only a few dollars for this deck. I made it as cheap as possible, but it's still really fun to play the deck. So now I will show you the deck profile and you will see that it's really easy to build this deck. The cards are not expensive, fun to play, and you can even win matches with it at your locals. So I would really recommend you to try this out, and I would really recommend you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet, because I will make more content. I will also make a competitive, but of course a little bit expensive, Springans deck profile in one of my next videos. So if you are interested not only in the budget version, but also a full competitive version, just subscribe to my channel and I will make that video. So first, let's see what kind of monsters we play. It's quite easy because in this deck we play all the springans, so the Rocky, the Pedor. We also play the Captain. This is a really important card because this is the only one which has a quick effect, which in your opponent's turn can destroy a card. If you have a Springans Xyz monster and you can detach one material, and I really like the concept that this card uses a material from another monster. So it's really nice and really refreshing. Moreover, this is quite a powerful card with huge defense points. And also, if you use this card as a material for an Xyz monster, then that monster will gain 500 attacks. Of course, only if it's a Springan Xyz monster. This is the last Springans card, the branga. This is really important because it can search you cards if it's in the graveyard. And the basic concept of Springans, which I really enjoy playing, that from your field, from your hand, from your graveyard, each of them can attach themselves to a Springans Xyz monster. So basically, each turn you can get your materials back, which will be really important because the Xyz monster in this deck, the Explorer, this can actually destroy as many cards, as many materials you can detach from this. If you attach all 4 different Springans cards to it as material, it can destroy 4 cards. Of course, there are limitations because you have to choose a zone and you can only destroy cards in that zone or to the zones connected to that. But in most cases it's absolutely okay. You can destroy 3 or 4 cards. It's really crazy. So let's move ahead. After the Springans, and as you see all the Springans are commons, so basically they are just a few cents. After that we play 2 Planet Pathfinder, and the reason why I do this, you could cut them out, but the most important main deck card of the deck is the Great Sensi Gold Golgonda. And you have to search this card. You want to see this card every time in your hand when you start a game. And most of the Springans don't really need the normal summon because the basic idea is to summon an Xyz monster with the field spell and then attach the cards to that. So this card is works, I would say, because it can search your field spell. So I play it because I want to make sure that I have that field spell every time. As regards the hand traps, I play the most effective but still cheap ones. So I play 3 effect wheeler, really good, and it's not even once per turn. So you can use every copy in your hand on the same turn, and it can really stop a few stuff. So it's great. Also we play 2 of the Ghost Bell. You can play like 2 Schoolmeister instead. Right now I play this, but Schoolmeister is also good and also cheap. And I also play 2 DD Crow, which is also a great card against a few decks. Of course, if you have like a little bit better hand traps, like you already have a playset of Ash Blossom, of course you can play that. If your locals full of combo decks, you can play Nibiru. But if you play these hand traps, you will be fine. You can always use your effect wheeler. In most cases, you can use these. So I think the deck is absolutely playable with these hand traps, but you know, there is always room for upgrading. Okay, now let's see the spells. First, I would like to show you the Great Sensi Gold Golgonda. You activate this card, it gives 1000 attack points for every Spring and Xyz monster on the field. And the basic idea, you activate this, use its effect, drop a Springan card, it can be a monster, it can be a spell trap, from your hand to the graveyard, and you just summon out an Xyz monster, a Springan Xyz monster, of course the Explorer, because right now this is the only one Xyz monster we have. So you summon out this, and if you have a monster in your hand, or you drop the Springan monster to the graveyard, you can attach it, and you have a fully equipped Explorer. So this card is great. We also have the Springans Watch. Guys, this card is crazy. So in any other deck, this, okay, not any other, but in a lot of meta decks, a card like this would be absolutely awesome and crazy, because what this card does, you activate it and it searches you the field spell. But if you have this field spell already, you can search a Springan monster from your deck and add it to your hand, and then you send a Springan monster from your deck to the graveyard. So gives one card to your hand and one card to your graveyard, and you know the Springans cards love to be in the graveyard. So basically it's a Searcher and the Foolish at the same time, but if you don't have the field spell, it searches you the field spell. So it's really, really crazy. And it's also a cheap card, so why wouldn't you play it? We play one Terraforming because we won the field spell, as I said before. And we also play 2 Machine Duplication because your Branga, which is level 8 monster, have enough attack for the Machine Duplication. So if you have this on field, activate Machine Duplication, you will have 3 level 8s on the field, which is really crazy. You can also use it on your Pedor, and you will have 3 Pedors on field. I only play 2 because I don't want to see this twice in my hand, but this 2 is great. And then I would like to show you a few cards which are cheap but makes the deck really, really consistent. 2 trade-ins, because your big Springans monsters are level 8 monsters and loves to be in the graveyard. So use it, drop to the graveyard, draw 2 new cards, and you already have a Springan in graveyard which you can attach, use its effect. So this card is great in this deck, as well as the Pot of Desires, because there is not really a card which is like a game loss if you banish from your deck. So you can use it, which is a really, really powerful card. You can draw 2. And because they make the deck more consistent, I really like to play them. As well as the Monster Reborn and the Foolish Burial, because, you know, Springans to the graveyard. Okay, let's see the traps. I play 2 Springans Blast, because this is right now the best Springans trap, and it can negate the monster effect if you have a Springan monster, and actually this is already a great disruption. You can search it with your Branga. This is great. And I play 1 Springan Skull because this is another Monster Reborn, and sometimes you can use its second effect. So it's also great. And the last 3 cards I play are 3 Dogmatic Punishment. First, because this is a common card and it's really cheap to have. And second, because it's really, really powerful. Yes, it's a bit problematic, because if you use that, you cannot use your extra deck until the end of your next turn. So if you use it on your opponent's turn, then next turn you won't be able to use your extra deck. But if you already have an Explorer on field, then it won't be a problem, because you can save your explorer, because this also have a really powerful effect. It can banish itself and then return, and you can attach from your graveyard. So it's really good, and if you have already one on your field, then you won't have a problem using dogmatic punishments. But this card is really powerful. It can disrupt your opponent so badly that I decided to play these. And now, let's see the extra deck. Of course, you already know that we play 3 Springuns Ship Explorer, which is the most expensive card as regards the Springans, but still really cheap. So that's why I like this archetype, that it's really accessible for any player. We play one Sky Prison because it's great against graveyard heavy decks. One Dingirsu, which can protect your cards, send a card, so you can use it with 2 level 8 monsters, as well as this one. We play a Tornado Dragon and the terribly tired Tapir. Why I do this? Because the remaining Springans, which are not level 8s, are level 4s. So sometimes you can make these cards in the appropriate situation. And the Tapir, for example, is really annoying for your opponent. And let's see the fusions. Because we play these cards mainly for your dogmatic punishment, because if you send this, it will search you a Springan and you can have it in your hand, or you can special summon it end of turn. So it's really good, because with the dogmatic punishment you destroy, and with this you search. And if you use the Antis, then you will have a double destroy. That's why I say that dogmatic punishment itself can end your opponent's turn if you can use it correctly. And finally, let's see the links. One Unicorn, one Phoenix, one of the Fire Charmer, because every Springan card are fire. So in most cases, if it is destroyed, it will search, and you can use it to resurrect an Ash from your opponent's grave, and then you link them off for a Unicorn. So it's a good card, and in a lot of situations it's useful. And the last card, basically this is a Borload Dragon now, but if you have like an Appaloosa, you can also play that. So this is a link 4 monster, and not the most ideal one, but still a powerful link 4, which you can use sometimes. And the extra deck, I wanted the extra deck also to be as cheap as possible. Of course, you can play an Access Code Talker instead, or an Appaloosa, as I said. So yeah, it depends on your possibilities. So guys, this was my Springan budget deck profile. I really like to play this deck, and it will be even more powerful when the next set comes out, which will be the Lightning Overdrive. In that set there will be more Springans cards, and I think they also won't be the most expensive ones in the set, so they will also be accessible. You will have a new Axis monster, level 4 Axis. You will have new Springans monsters, Springans spell traps. So this deck has a lot of possibilities and has a lot of potential, but still it's not too expensive. That's why I really like it. If you also like the deck and like my video, please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, and also subscribe for my channel for more content, and it will be also a huge help for me. And guys, let's try to reach 600 subscribers together, where there will be another giveaway. So this was all for today. Don't forget to stay safe and get your game on.